Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of with Roger Hanson. This is my daily stream, and today we will be discussing strangeness. I have Karma Love with me. You want to say hi, Karma?
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Um, and in particular, when it comes to strangeness, I want to get into what we were discussing yesterday during our history stream. And towards the end of it, it was concerning Atlantis. We kind of tapped into it a little bit when we were talking about Casey, and then we started talking about
Jack Carson.
Jack Parsons and stuff, and then finally, I think it was conspiracy theories. No,
Nikola Tesla.
we did Nikola Tesla. Now we did Aleister Crowley on this one, right?
A little bit, but we really did not get in as deep as I feel like we could have. Like, we were more on Parsons. Are we going to talk about the secret space program? I was supposed to do some research, but I kind of got caught in what seems like a hurricane.
Well, I
It
mean,
feels like a.
if you want to do the secret space program, we can. But if you want to do Atlantis, we can do that too.
Oh, yeah, let's do that because we started talking, you said, just because we were talking about yesterday in regards to even the Phoenicians and the trade route and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking we should do. Because first of all, we started out in Egypt when we started doing the history. You know what I mean? And then we were discussing the Phoenicians and stuff, and the pyramids, things of that nature. Now, the reason why I don't really dive too much into Atlantis is because of, well, some of the stuff I've already mentioned. You know, everybody likes to link history up to freaking like the Sumerians up to South America, and I've already gone over that. You know, my thoughts of
Hmm.
that, and
So
it's
wait, it's the Sumerians that you're saying would be
well,
in South America? Oh,
they're they're they try to link it all together, and it's become a trend. Okay, like if you look at a lot of people who discuss ancient civilizations, lost ancient civilizations, you know, everything leads back
hmm.
to the Inca. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah, and you can't forget this. Yeah, I can because there's no link. There never was. Uh,
right. You would like to see the tie to it,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Show the evidence. The only thing I've seen that even connects anything to do with other continents with America is while we were discussing with Egypt and that mummy where they found traces of cocaine on them. And other than that, there's no links, you know. And it's like with Atlantis. Okay, everybody uh, they don't. Everybody who talks about it really don't know the history about Atlantis. Like uh, when Plato mentioned his freaking, I think it was his great grandfather because it wasn't like his direct grandfather. Okay, Solaris. But
Yeah,
when he mentioned it, he mentioned the story in his writings one time. Okay, just one time, and it never caught on in the ancient world. There was never anything added to it. It just sat there. Okay. The only time that it took off was during the Middle Ages. Somehow, it became real popular during that time. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
so during the time of the ancient times, nobody even paid attention to that story. It was just one writing that Plato made concerning Atlantis, and that was it. You know, so those are kind of the stuff that freaking that I learned about it. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I mean, it would be great if somebody did find Atlantis, because there's other places that are mentioned that aren't even Atlantis, that were supposed to be sunken islands and sunken continents too. You know what I mean? So,
No, I didn't know that though. But hold on. So you're saying besides Atlantis, there's supposed to be other cities underwater as well?
uh, yeah, there are
Oh,
actually.
which ones?
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Uh, I had a message from Annie for real, and I tried to contact her, and she wanted me to talk to her, and I told her that uh, I didn't get a message from her.
Is she on Mines? She's on
Yeah,
Mines.
yeah.
Mm,
But
I never heard of
what
her.
I did want to do is I did want to make it a topic, and just for the sake of it being Atlantis, I went ahead and I pulled up, Wikipedia Atlantis, because you're not gonna hear good stuff on Encyclopedia Britannica and stuff. But
Right, you gotta go down and go deep to find the real research in regards.
now you can get information about Atlantis from other sources, like people who write their own blogs and turn them into a website. You know what I mean? But even right there, what you're gonna get is their interpretation of it. You know what I mean? Now, Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned in Plato's works in Timaeus and Critias, as part of an allegory of the hubris of nations. In the story, Atlantis is described as a naval empire that ruled all western parts of the known world, making it the literary counter image of the Achaemenid Empire. After an ill fated attempt to conquer ancient Athens, Atlantans fall out of favor. Atlantis falls out of favor with the deities and submerges into the Atlantic Ocean. Since Plato describes Athens as resembling his idol state in the Republic, the Atlantis story is meant to bear witness to the superiority of his concept of a state. Despite its minor importance in Plato's works, the Atlantis story has had a considerable impact in literature. The allegoric aspect of Atlantis was taken up in utopian works of several Renaissance writers such as Francis Bacon, New Atlantis, Thomas More's Utopia, and Thomas More's Utopia. On the other hand, 19th century amateur scholars misinterpreted Plato's narrative as historical tradition, most famously Ignatius L. Donnelly in his Atlantis, the Antediluvian World. Plato's vague indications of the time of the events more than 9,000 years before his time, and the alleged location of Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Hercules, gave rise to much pseudo scientific speculation. As a consequence, Atlantis has become a byword for any and all supposed advanced prehistoric lost civilizations, and continues to inspire contemporary fiction from comic books to films. While present day philologists and classicists agree on the story's fictional nature, there is still debate on what served as its inspiration. Plato is known to have freely borrowed some of his allegories and metaphors from older traditions, as he did with the story of Gyges. This led a number of scholars to suggest possible inspirations of Atlantis from Egyptian records of the Europa, the Thera eruption, the Sea People's invasion, or the Trojan War. Others have rejected this chain of tradition as implausible and insist that Plato created the entire fictional account, drawing loose inspiration from contemporary events such as the failed Athenian invasion of Sicily in 415 to 413 BC, or the destruction of Hiliki or Hilike in 373 BC. You still there? All right. Yeah. So I've got to switch that over. I think that's just a false thing. It might be somebody or a robo thing. I don't know where uh, Karma went, but I'll continue with it. So what we got here is we have a writing that was basically um, oh wow, that was me. That's crap. Yeah, it did it to me again. So let me come back in here, hit my Jitsi, and get back on my Jitsi meet. Yeah, it did it to me again.
Look, and I heard you stop talking. I'm like, hello, hello, are you there? So I thought it was mine because I'm in the middle of a super horrible storm right now. So I was like, maybe it was mine. I came back, it still was like it's the other one. I guess that you used for your screen share, and it showed that one, but it was no talking. So I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow,
I was
but
sitting
okay,
there.
I'm
I was
listening.
sitting there in the middle of
Reading.
yeah, and it just basically kicked me off into my own little room. So
See, and without you pressing any buttons, why would it do that? Like that does not even make any sense for that to be a default. Like how if we're not pressing anything would it kind of separate us into breakout rooms? That's right.
yeah, it's crazy. Um, that's why I say, I mean, if I got more support from all these guys who are like cheering on open source on these chats, then I'd be more than happy to just continue using Jitsi. But I mean, this is just nonsense, to be honest with you.
And
Yeah,
it's only just started happening. It makes me feel like I really feel like you're hacked. The other day, Tan said something about using a password, and I feel like he might have been getting that vibe too, because all of a sudden there's such so many issues with your shows, and it's just like, why? Like, there's no, they're not justifiable. Like, what are you doing different with streaming? And you know what I mean, using the same type of settings and the same type of setup.
yeah.
Anyway, you gotta go back a little bit for the reading,
Well,
just
what
a
I'm
little
gonna do
bit.
is I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to post the link to what I've just read,
Okay.
and then I'll let you read it. You can read it aloud, and then as you go, if you have any comments that you want to add on to it, then go for it, and we can go from there. Because I've already read it out, and I don't want to do it
Where'd
again.
you?
It's
It's okay. I was about to say, oh, here it is. I got it right here. Give me 1 second.
so
And okay, Atlantis. You want me to start or no?
yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okie dokie. Atlantis. Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned in Plato's work Timaeus and Critias as part of an allegory on the hubris of nations. In the story, Atlantis is described as a naval empire that ruled all western parts of the known world, making it the literary concert image of the Achaemenid Empire. After an ill fated attempt to conquer ancient Athens, Atlantis falls out of favor with the deities and submerges into the Atlantic Ocean. Since Plato describes Athens as resembling his ideal state in the Republic, the Atlantis story is meant to bear witness to the superiority of his concept of state. Despite its minor importance in Plato's work, the Atlantis story has had a considerable impact on literature. The allegorical aspects of Atlantis was taken up in utopian works of several Renaissance workers such as Francis Bacon's New Atlantis and Thomas More's Utopia. On the other hand, 19th century amateur scholars misinterpret Plato's narrative as historical tradition, most famously Ignatius Donnelly in his Atlantis, the antediluvian world. Plato's vague indications of the time of the events more than 9,000 years before his time, and the alleged location of Atlantis gave rise to much pseudoscientific speculation. As a consequence, Atlantis has become a byword for any and all supposed advanced prehistoric lost civilizations and continues to inspire contemporary fiction from comic books to film. While present day philog- philologists, okay, while present day philologists and classicists agree on the story's fictional nature, there is still debate on what served as its inspiration. Plato is known to have freely borrowed some of his allegories and metaphors from older traditions, as he did with the story of Gyges, or is it Gyges. This led a number of scholars to suggest possible inspiration of Atlantis from Egyptian records to the Thera eruption, the Sea Peoples. Oh, we were just talking about them. The Sea
Yep.
Peoples invasion, or the Trojan War, and that's what we were talking about with Troy.
Yep.
Others have rejected this chain of tradition as implausible and insist that Plato created an entirely fictional account, drawing loose inspiration from contemporary events such as the failed Athenian invasions of Sicily because of the destruction of Helike in 373 BC.
Now,
And
right
then,
there is where I stopped reading and everything. Now, before we go on further, I mean, what's your just on that reading? What's your take of
I feel as though he has a way that he knows, like it's make he's making his story based off of current events, true events that actually took place. But he presented it kind of like you're doing with your story, how you do your story every day,
it? Right.
because he's making it to where it's an incorporation of stuff that's real, but he maybe might perhaps exaggerated or embellished on some of the details, making it to be more interesting. But in the account too, just because you know how sometimes people can get like visions or get to where they're able to have interpretations of certain type of events based off of like not really realizing where it's coming from, but they're being shown it from other entities and stuff like that. In which regard that could very well be possible. And if it is possible, then I feel as though most likely he wrote based off of his experience, embellished the work just a little bit in order to make it more intriguing. And then that's kind of the part that people attempted to discredit. Also, too, as well, more so, people might have been attempting to disassociate the concept because of its secrecy, just because of the sacredness as well as secrecy of not wanting people to really travel there or to, because I hear it's a very mystical place, and
Yeah.
as a result, that usually results in like it can bring you power. And if there was a way to access an extreme amount of power, you would attempt to minimize it or at least keep it hidden as best as you could if you were in a position to be able to, as well as feeling as though you'd be less benefited if you were to expose the true nature of it. Excuse me.
Oh, it's fine. I, I, when I look at the stories behind it and everything, the one thing that stands out to me is the fact that it does bring Egypt into the whole equation. Everybody always falls back on Egypt, you know. And for me, what I've learned about Egypt during those times was that Egypt was where everybody went for education. Okay, yeah, they might have had the
And that's right there where the Phoenicians were.
you know, they might have had
Mm.
like the Great Pyramids and everything, and they might not have been the same as the people up in Europe, like around Greece and Italy was, but they understood that great knowledge came out of frickin' Egypt, and there are other things that have been discussed when it comes to. Now I gotta try to get it off that freaking. I've got the map zoomed in.
Oh, I was. Well, see, I don't see the map. I was looking at the map on mine. I should have screen shared. I was looking at the map on mine, and I'm looking at its relation to Africa as far as location. And
Yeah,
you see where it has Atlantis here, then you see America, and then you see this map makes me feel like it's backwards because is America not supposed to be on the left and then Africa on the right? Like, what is
yeah.
this
I'm
about?
thinking that was because of photography. Whenever they took the picture, and then
It's a reflection.
they added it to wherever they added it to, it could have flipped. Now I could be wrong, but that does happen.
Yeah, but yeah, what if it's a
I
deeper
see
meaning?
that too.
I thought I was losing it. I mean, I might still be losing it, but it's
Now
definitely made no sense.
I believe I put it down on my my screen share.
Let me see.
Can you see
Let
it?
me see. No, my screen is blank on your screen. It's just black. It's not even the chat anymore. Because
Oh,
usually I can see the chat. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it now.
okay. I just wanted to make sure, and now I've got to try to I've got to try to get
Mm-hmm.
out of the picture. Usually I hit freaking escape and it just does it, but now I guess there's some kind of different code that goes into it. Some
Oh, you're being hacked. Severely hacked. That's very well possible. Seems as much as so. But you have three screens on here. You do see that, right? It's usually just two, but there's three
yeah.
of you now.
Now
Perhaps something's glitching because of that.
the reason for that is because I want on the stream you're gonna see after it's done recording and everything, you're gonna see another screen that shows what I've been going over and stuff like that.
Ah, that's what I usually do see, and I think it's so cool because I see our like Jitsi chat on the top of the stream, and then I see what you're usually referring to or reading. Like, what's never our chat. Like on in Jitsi, I can see our chat, but I don't ever see the chat, or at least I never pay attention. But I never see the chat on the stream. I
Yeah.
usually see something like the information that you're presenting. So, okay, what you're saying makes sense there. That makes sense.
Now,
But look at the and so the sea people. They did just mention the sea people in here as well. Or were you going to say something else? Because I was going
no,
to ask
I'm
about
good to
that
go.
correlation.
I'm good to go, man.
Okay,
I can
there is.
now this right here is kind of what uh, was talking about. Like this is what they were talking about, and
Yeah,
the other continent, there was lost continents besides Atlantis.
yeah. That's what I was asking you because you said there were other cities that were like continents. So, what besides Atlantis that are supposedly underwater, under as well?
Let me pull it up. I want to make sure I got the names right. Um, let's see here. No, they'll first always mention the lost continent of Atlantis, but like on here you have um, it's Lemuria. Have you ever heard of the lost
Lemuria.
continent of Lemuria?
No, I'm looking it up now. Laws.
It's
Of
Lemura.
Lemuria. Oh, wow. Look how pretty the water is around there.
Now Lemuria was a continent proposed in 1864 by zoologist Philip Slater, theorized to have sunk beneath the Indian Ocean, uh, later appropriately by occultists in supposed accounts of human origins. The theory was discredited with the discovery of plate tectonics and continental drift in the 20th century. The hypothesis was proposed as an explanation for the presence of lemur fossils in Madagascar and the Indian subcontinent, but not in Africa or the Middle East. Biologist Ernest Haeckel's suggestion in 1870 that Lemuria could be the ancient home caused the hypothesis to move beyond the scope of geology and zoogeography, ensuring its popularity outside of the framework of the scientific community. Occultist and founder of Theosophy, Helen Blavatsky, during the latter part of the 19th century, placed Lemuria in the system of her mystical religious doctrines, claiming that this continent was the homeland of the human ancestors, whom she called Lemurians. The writings of Blavatsky had a significant impact on Western esotericism, popularizing the myth of Lemuria and its mystical inhabitants. Theories about Lemuria became untenable when, in the 1960s, the scientific community accepted Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift, presented in 1912, but the idea lived on in the popular imagination, especially in relation to the Theosophist tradition. And I also do want to add that I did find a lot of influence with the Theosophical Society when it comes to a lot of the people who discusses this topic, like Graham Hancock.
The people.
Yeah, like Graham Hancock, for example. A lot of the stuff he discusses is has to do with a lot of the things that are closely connected to the Theosophical Society. You know what I mean? So, and there was a big thing that came up in the conspiracy theory net groups. You know what I mean, about him being a Freemason and stuff like that. But for me, I think he's more of a member of the Theosophical Society more than anything else, other than being a Freemason. But the Freemasons, yeah, they believed in.
Wait, hold on.
You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah. No, say it again, because it's like cutting out.
I was like,
You sound like a
Graham.
robot, honestly.
No, what exactly was it that you
Yeah,
didn't?
Graham Hughes. No, I don't know him.
Yeah,
That
Graham.
part, I heard his name, but that I didn't know. You're saying he's a Freemason?
No, a lot. There was people that has made comments that he might have been a Freemason, but I see him more as being a member of the Theosophical Society.
Graham Hughes. I'm looking him up now. Is it G? Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
They say
Graham
this man is an
Hancock.
actor. Hold on, wait a minute.
Graham Hancock.
This can't be the right person.
Here, I can type the name in the chat for you.
When I look him up, they say that he's an the Odyssey expedition. Is that what I'm looking at?
No,
The I am the Odyssey.
you got the
I
name.
apologize. The background's going to be loud for a little while because I
That's
can't
fine.
keep muting you and talk to you. And then
That's
I
fine.
apologize. Thank you.
Now, did you?
I didn't look it up. I looked him up, but I didn't type it. Oh, let me see how you wrote it. See, you. This is how I spelled it. It's like I apologize. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Just
don't worry about it.
like way about it.
It's fine.
As long as you're good, then I'm good. It's just it's just I don't want you to kick me. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
You're not. You're not.
Let me give you the fair one. Oh, I see him here. I've seen this guy before, but I didn't see him before.
Yeah.
The Divine Scribe.
Now I've got the link for Wikipedia for Lemuria too.
Magician of the Gods.
Yeah.
Magician of the
He.
Gods. Oh, okay. Are we reading Wikipedia?
I.
Oh, you already read this one.
Yeah. I just read the beginning part. I think. I'm just sharing the
Yeah, this is what
information.
I was looking at. I was looking at this one when you where you reading, and then the map too, because the map has Lemuria next to Australia. Is that correct?
Yeah. And
Am I
see,
looking at the right thing? Yeah.
the tectonic plates and everything. Scientists have found out that freaking actually all the way from New Zealand down into Australia, there's freaking an underground continent or
Hmm.
underwater continent that sunk there. You know. So I mean, like New Zealand actually freaking goes underwater. Part of their continent goes underwater, and people don't even know that. So it is pretty interesting how that does work out. There we go. I can't believe I didn't think about that. All I had to do was push on the back arrow to get out of that map.
Okay. Hey,
But
sneakers. Yes, ma'am. I'll be in a second. Go ahead. I'm listening now. So just super late for basketball. The people are late getting here. I've been standing in line because we got here early, and so they're all coming in now. And I just, nothing. I'm listening. She has. I had to buy sneakers for my boys, and she's just telling me she has no sneakers. But go ahead and listen.
all right,
Can you
so
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I can
I can hear you.
hear you.
Now I'm gonna switch the viewer back to the main chat and stuff, so we can at
So
least.
wait, we're not. You're not
Well, give
gonna.
me a second.
Can
Give
you
me.
put a map of Lemuria? Okay.
That's what I'm getting ready to do. I'll try to get it all set up that
I
way,
see it.
freaking it can be seen on the video too.
Evolution of the idea. I see it. It's showing me.
And window capture, I can turn that off. Now I'm still trying to navigate it. I gave it a try on the browser so that I can have it set up there. Now, are you seeing it?
Yeah, I see it. Evolution of the idea.
Yeah. Now I can go.
Am I reading?
I can go on there if you want me to do it. Or evolution of the idea is the second part. I read the first part, Lemuria, right here. Now,
Yeah.
now if you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to read
yeah.
that, you can.
Evolution of the idea. Okay. No problem. Lemuria was hypothesized as a land bridge not sunken, which would account for certain discontinuities. Yeah, discontinuities. Okay, hold on a second. Lemuria was hypothesized land bridge now sunken, which would account for certain discontinuities. This idea in biogeography. This idea has been rendered I keep making it smaller because I'm almost blind. Okay, there we go. This idea has been rendered obsolete by modern theories of plate tectonics.
Tectonics.
Tectonics. Yeah, I keep shrinking it so I can read it all, but then it's too small. Sunken, sunken continents such as Zealandia in the Pacific and Mariorita and the, Mariorita, yeah, and the Kerguelen
Plateau.
Plateau
Yeah.
in the Indian Ocean coexist with no geological formation under the Indian or Pacific Ocean is known that could have served as a land bridge between continents. The idea of Lemuria was later incorporated into the philosophy of theosophy. Wait, hold on.
Theosophy.
Theosophy. Okay, yeah, theosophy, and has persisted as the theme in pseudo archaeology. Hold on, pseudo. Oh yeah, so pseudo archaeology. Discussions of lost. I thought I saw it and discussions of lost lands. There is a vast fringe literature pertaining to Lemuria and related concepts such as Lemurian fellowship and other things Lemurian. All share a common belief that a continent existed in what is now either the Pacific Ocean or the Indian Ocean. Those are like two totally different extremes. Like, which one is it? In
Yeah.
ancient times, and claimed that it became submerged as a result of geological catalysm. An important element of the mythology of Lemuria is that it was the location of the emergence of the complex knowledge system that formed the basis for later beliefs. The concept of Lemuria was developed in detail by James Churchward, who referred to it as Mu and identified it as a lost continent in the Pacific Ocean. Churchward appropriated the name for Augustus slave Polygamous, who had who had used the concept of the land of Mu to refer to the legendary lost continent of to the
Atlantis.
legendary lost continent of Atlantis. Churchward, yeah, I'm just scrolling. Churchward's book included the lost continent of Mu, the motherland of men, the children of Mu, the sacred symbols of Mu, Cosmic Force of Mu, and second book of Cosmic Force of Mu. The relationship between Lemuria, Mu, and Atlantis are discussed in detail in the book Lost Continents. Oh, we gotta read that. That we should read some of that a little bit.
Yeah.
The on Story Day, the Atlantis theme of history, science, and literature by L. Sparge Duchamp. Pseudo archaeologists, excuse me, pseudo archaeological and New Age beliefs about Lemuria have been promoted in books by fringe author Frank Collin, writing under the pen name Frank Joseph in books published by Inner Tradition, Bears and Company. Additional discussions of fantastic speculation about the imaginary land of Lemuria are examples of Lemuria in popular culture. Can I blue click? Can you blue click the Lemuria and popular culture? And can we see where that takes us?
Yeah. Um,
There you go.
there we go. In popular culture, it just takes you down the list. You want me to?
Down the yeah, further.
All right. Now, do you
No,
want
I
to?
can. I mean, it's up to you.
I'll go for it.
Okie dokie. Since the 1880s, the concept of the Myria has had a prominent place in the mythology of theosophy, anthro, anthroposophy, and other occult and New Age beliefs, inspiring many novels, television shows, films, and music. There are not scientific ideas, but fall within the realm of studio archaeology and popular culture. Uh,
Yeah.
Australia, okay.
Blavatsky.
Blavatsky theorized that Blavatsky, thank you.
Yeah.
Blavatsky theorized that Australia was remnant inland region of Lemuria and the Aboriginal Australians and Aboriginal Tasmanians, which she identified as separate groups, where of Lemurian and Lemuro Atlantean origin Atlantean origin after crossbreeding with animals. Her idea was subsequently developed in pseudo histories and fiction of the white Australian popular culture of the 1890s and early 1900s, including the writing of nationalist Australian poet Bernard O'Dowd, author Rosa Campbell Pride in My Australian Girlhood, author John David Hennessy, I just heard his name before, just recently, and an Australian bush track, and George Firth Scott's novel, The Last Lemurian, a Westralian romance, which combines Australian and Western civilization. Robert Dixon suggests that the popularity of the ideas of lost races like Lemurians and Atlanteans reflected the anxieties of colonial Australians. That's when Englishness is lost. There is nothing to replace it. A. L. McCann attributes Praed's use of the Lemuria trope to an attempt to create a lineage for white settlers without having to confront the annihilation of indigenous people. That's interesting. Should we keep on or should we stop?
Um, I think
Okay.
probably because
In
they start mentioning
1890,
Robert Dixon. When they start mentioning Robert Dixon, it's just best not to even go there. Like that's where it starts getting
yeah,
into.
this is the top.
That's where it starts getting
Tell
in.
us Mount Shasta though.
Now Mount Shasta is see that's where you start that's where you start getting into
May
the
you click
alien.
it?
You start getting into the alien Lemuria thing. So um, tell us
I keep
Mount.
attempting to click it, but I'm on your screen. Yeah,
Now
tell us Mount
it's got a
Shasta.
short description just down below it. If you want me to read it, I can.
Oh, okay.
In 1894, Frederick
Yeah, if you.
Spencer Oliver published A Dweller on Two Planets, an occult book which claimed that survivors from Lemuria were living in a complex of tunnels beneath the mount of Mount Shasta in Northern California. This city, known as Telos, City of Light, boasted fur-lined carpeted floors and jeweled walls, all signs of opulence. Spencer also claimed that Lemurians could be seen walking the surface in white robes. In 1931, Harvey Spencer Lewis, who went by the pseudonym Wishar Spinel Survey, wrote Lemuria, the lost continent of the Pacific, which popularized the idea that Shasta was a repository for Lemurians. In 1930, Guy Warren Ballard claimed to have been approached by Saint Germain, who told him he could endow him with knowledge and wisdom. Ballard wrote and published the book Unveiled Mysteries under the alias Godfrey Ray King, where Ballard claimed to be the person that Saint Germain was speaking through to go to the world. The belief in Telos has been proliferated by Ballard and his followers, as well as other religious groups like Ascended Masters, the Great White Brotherhood, Bridge to Freedom, the Summit Lighthouse, Church Universal, and Triumphant, and Cryon. Every year,
Hmm.
members of these religious groups make pilgrimages to Mount Shasta, a journey that is marked as various yearly festivals and events. The St. Germain Foundation hosts the annual I Am Come pageant in the life of Jesus the Christ in Mount Shasta. The Rainbow family hosts a rainbow gathering every August to commemorate the pilgrimage. These religions are often a mix of spiritual practices based largely on native Christian, Buddhist, and Taoist traditions, synthesizing their beliefs and excluding negative aspects of such religions. For example, the St. Germain Foundation does not include Jesus' crucifixion in their teachings.
I wonder how they just avoid that subject matter. But that lets you know how religion can just vary based off of comfortability, or just more as idealism, what people would like for it to be. And that's why, like, I never down anyone if like you're going to be religious. but it's really a way of being in bond. We're not gonna, we don't like to do the religious debate. We're not gonna do the religious debate. I just feel as
Yeah,
though
I
a lot
mean,
of the times,
we're talking about like technically they like to call them religions, but they're really cults. Cause like, and the word
yeah.
everybody keeps downing the word cult like you're insulting them, and that's not what it is. Christianity was a cult at one time.
But
It's
by definition of what a cult is,
yeah.
like in fairness, by definition of what a cult is, like a cult is a cult, and that is what religion is.
I
Unfortunately,
mean,
it does.
the difference
Not
between
all
a
of them,
cult
but
and a
most of them.
religion in layman's term is just their size, their following. Okay, like
Some of
they
these
don't.
look, so the Catholics are a cult. Definitely, look how huge that is.
Well, it's a matter of how many followers they get. Like when they hit a certain point where they have so many followings, they can be considered a religion. You see what I mean? But before that,
So it's the smaller ones that are considered a cult.
yeah, like the smaller belief systems that are below a certain amount of followers are a cult. I mean, and that's all it is. There's nothing insulting about it. There's nothing bad about it. It's
It's
just
just the
there's,
truth.
you know, what I
Right.
mean, there's a cult and then there's a religion. You know,
Can we look at? Can you pull up the definition of cult just for? Can you
yeah.
pull up the Wikipedia of cult for us and share it on the screen
Well,
just for
with that
comparison, just
one,
so people can see it?
I can probably pull freaking Encyclopedia Britannica. That
Okay,
might.
that, and then can we do etymology? Do you have the etymology site so we can just see the breakdown as well? I mean, I can do it on this side, but just because you, oh, here it is right here.
Yeah.
Super session.
Actually, it'd probably be
What is this?
cult definition. I can do Merriam's Webster.
What
Okay,
what's on the
often
screen now?
one of my. Well, I'm not on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
The
going
lim-
through and sharing the browser. That is. Wait, what is going on there? Let me.
I'm like, wait a
I'm on
minute.
the wrong
This
spot.
is new.
Yeah, that
This
right
is
there is
something
for
new.
Lemuria, man. That's.
I
That,
see the water and it says it over here,
yeah.
Memorial. Yeah. Super session, Kumari Candle.
You know, I can bring it
Oh,
back
that's what
up
we was
to the
over to
top.
Australia.
Lemuria, right there.
Well, that's a pretty picture. Okay, hold on. With the turtles, was it a tortoise and a turtle?
Now,
Okay,
cult
I'm listening.
out of the Webster Dictionary is a religion regarded as unorthodox or spurious. Also, its body of adherents, like the voodoo cult, the satanic cult. Then the second one is a great devotion to a person, idea, object, movement, or work, such as a film or book, criticizing how the media promotes the cult of celebrity, especially such a devotion regarded as a literary or intellectual fad.
No, that's religion right there. That definition right there is religion.
Then B is the object of such devotion, and C is a usually small group of people characterized as such devotion. And their example is the singer's cult of fans. The film has a cult following. Then you go to 3, it's a system of religious beliefs in a religion or ritual. Also, its body of adherents, and their example is the cult of Apollo. Um, then 4 is formal religious veneration, worship, a system of the cure of disease based on dogma set forth by its promulg- promulgator. There you go. And their example is health cults. Um, now,
Their example is
that's out of the dictionary, and that's
okay.
now if we go up to see, that's Merriam Dictionary. Dictionaries are stupid, really. They just like do like this broad, like there ain't really much there. It's like I hate that. It does. It just irritates me. Cult is a term. This is from Wikipedia. Cult is a term in most contexts pejorative for a relatively small group which is typically led by a charismatic and self-appointed leader who excessively controls its members, requiring unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices which are considered deviant outside the norms of society. This term is also used for a new religious movement or other social group which is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs and rituals, or its common interest in a particular person, object, or goal. This sense of the term is weakly defined, having divergent definitions both in popular culture and academia, and has also been an ongoing source of contention among scholars across several fields of study. An older sense of the word involves a set of religious devotional practices that is conventional with its culture, is related to a particular figure, and is frequently associated with a particular place. Reference to the imperial cult of ancient Rome, for example. Use of the word in this sense. A derived sense of excessive devotion arose in the 19th century. Beginning in the 1930s, cults began an object of sociological study within the context of the study of religious behaviors. Since the 1940s, the Christian and secular anti-cult movement
Oh, there you are. You are. There you are.
has opposed certain groups, and in reaction to acts of violence, frequently charged those cults with practicing mind control. Scholars and media have disputed some of the claims and actions of anti-cult movements, leading to further public controversy. So, yeah, once they start getting into all that, I wanted to stop.
No, I understand, but like I can see the correlation. I felt as though just given the nature of the topic and based off of how we're describing it, it was necessary for people to understand that do listen why we're relating religion, not that we're being anti-religion, but just speaking the truth of the matter using just basic
Now,
research definitions.
I could have actually messed that up because on Wikipedia it also says not to be cult is not to be mistaken with occult.
Oh, cool. OCCULT. Yeah,
With
I
an
know
O
that.
instead of CULT, OCCULT. So that might have been my bad. The occult is a is the broadest sense is a category of esoteric supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of organized religions and sciences. They're just throwing the same.
Yeah, they're just saying the same words but different formats. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're saying the same thing.
now they're wanting to categorize occult and cult like conspiracy and conspiracy theory. And this kind of behavior is
Because that
everywhere.
makes it to where they can do a separation.
Yeah, they can freaking categorize and break it down, and
Yeah, and make it seem as if they're not.
it's pretty bad when I look at that
Make
stuff.
it seem like it's not a cult just because they'll discuss it.
But the word cult shouldn't be a negative,
And how people are blind.
you know. See, and that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about when it comes to a lot of these topics. It's like there seems to be an intellectual group out there who just wants to freaking categorize these things to where it's interpreted as a negative thing when in reality it's not. You know what I mean? Um, the term cult has been
Hmm.
termed negative because of people who are freaking, like what's his face, the one that did the Kool-Aid with his followers, you know. Joe.
Okay.
You remember the guy who he did he had his mass followings. He did the mass murders with his followers on that island back in the 70s.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. When he gave them that drink and they were supposed to be going to board the mothership or some bullcrap.
No, that was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
different
I
one.
remember. That
That
was wild.
that was a different
That's
one.
somebody different.
Yeah. Now that's a topic we can get into too.
Um,
Like we have a lot of interesting cults that have done a lot of interesting things. It
so
wasn't.
that's strangeness more than it's conspiracy.
Well, yeah, that's very strange. Well, see
Hmm.
that's the stuff that I'm talking about, or I was talking about in my comment for this post. Okay, and that's the reason why I named this strangeness is because has a whole lot more category in it than just freaking UFOs and ghosts. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
there's a
right.
lot of things that can pertain to being strange or strangeness, like Lemuria and Atlantis. Um,
Yeah, and I never even heard of Lemuria until now. So I heard of Atlantis and I heard of it often. And there's even a Journey to Atlantis ride in Disney World. I feel as though it was in Epcot. And I could be incorrect of the park that it is in, but I've been on the Journey to Atlantis ride. And so, when you're telling me that there's other continents that have been lost at sea or have been said to be sunken as well, I had no clue. This is the first time I'm hearing of this.
yeah.
So,
Now, there are some interesting things that are factual, though. And what I was telling you about with New Zealand, that's really an interesting story. Like the majority of New Zealand sunk under the water. Like you've got the island of New Zealand, but the rest of its continent is like down below, underwater.
wow, see, and I didn't know that because I didn't
Yeah,
realize that that was how it was. Oh, see, that's right.
like New Zealand is actually a continent on its own. If you talk landmass,
What?
yeah,
What?
it's a
No.
continent on its own.
Let me look. I didn't know that. New. What do they do? They don't count it as a continent though. So is
Yeah.
it what is it guarded as an island?
Well,
Oh,
I
look how
mean,
beautiful this water is. Jesus.
it's underwater. I
Boy.
mean, I don't know what their plans
Look
are
how
to do with it.
beautiful it is though. But isn't robots from New Zealand? People live there.
Now, I don't know
Look
if
how
he's no.
beautiful it is.
He's from the island. I'm talking about like there's more land that belongs to New Zealand under the water around the beaches. You know what I mean? Go down underneath that
I have to
water.
do that map
Yeah,
that you
that's
guys did
actually a good
yesterday. What
idea.
was it called?
It's a
Yeah,
Google.
do that. Can you? Oh, I shouldn't be like this.
Yeah, that's a
Probably.
good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Can you pull it up on your thingy?
Yeah.
Cause, or are you gonna do Google Maps?
Yep.
Yeah, so we can show it.
New
That
Zealand.
satellite view is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Now, this
It says it's
is.
sharing your screen, but it's not. It's not. It says I still only see the chat.
Let me see what we got going on here. Um, there we go. Um, I've got to switch that back over and pull it up on here so that it's on the chat. Google
Okay.
Maps.
Oh wow, here we go.
And
So
There
I
we
see
go.
New Zealand. See, is that what that is underneath, surrounding
Yeah.
it?
See
Is
all
where
that?
it looks like it would be a whirlwind. Yeah, that's land underneath the water.
That's land underneath the water right there.
Okay, so can we go to where is Atlantis at in regards to, and
They
can we
they
look
don't
at
have
its?
they don't have any location whatsoever that indicates it.
But look, that place
You
that we
see
just
right
looked
here?
at on the map.
See all this right here?
Yeah,
Can you see my
you can
mouse?
tell. Yeah, I can see it. Can you hear me? I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
yeah.
can.
I don't know if the
Okay.
signal is
I
just
can.
blown.
Then
Oh,
not just this up here, okay? But
Papua New
like
Guinea. Yeah, I see
all
all
this right here, that right there is probably a reservoir of water.
that.
Maybe a
So basically, water on top of land where it kind of caved in, type of thing. Because isn't that what reservoirs are? Where
mhm.
the earth kind of gives in and then it gets filled with water.
Mhm. All that right there belongs to New Zealand.
That looks like land. Like you can actively see the shape and the formation, and that's what. Okay, so can we just? Where do they say Atlantis is? Can we go there and see what the map looks like to
They
see
they
if there's?
claim they claim that Atlantis is somewhere in this area.
Look, it'd be down there, right there to the bottom.
Right
Just
here.
go. Look, go back up. Zoom out just a little, or maybe yeah. Can you zoom out a little bit? Um, look in the middle. Look in the
Right here.
middle.
Yes.
Do
See
you
right
see
here.
it in the middle? Yeah, but do you see right where they have okay North Atlantic Ocean, right? Do you
Uh-huh.
see that right there?
Mhm.
What
Right.
about the Bermuda Triangle? Where is that at?
The
Can you show the
Bermuda
Bermuda
Triangle
Triangle?
is within this area right here.
Same area.
It starts at as a matter of fact, you're right in the area, so you need to be careful.
All right, I might just drop off the face of the earth and no one knows. This might
Now,
disappear.
Bermuda is actually, I believe it starts off right here off the. It
Off of
starts off
Miami,
right here,
really.
right around Miami and NASA.
I've only been to Miami to leave for a cruise. I've never been to like Miami to Miami. When I was a kid,
I
we
don't
left
even know
from
if
there.
Google Map will show NASA on the satellite. To be honest with you,
Look at this. What is that?
this right here,
Yeah,
that
look at
is
it.
blue water.
No, that's the Bahamas surrounded by blue water. Okay, we have that. But then look surrounding it. Look surrounding it. What are those? Like those crevices look a lot like
All
just the
of
opposite.
all of this is the stuff that is under the ground. These little curves right here, a lot of that
Wait, I don't
was
see it. Can you
above.
show your mouse again? Curves. Oh, there you
You
go.
see my mouse?
I do.
All of these lines right here are lines that indicate that this land here might have been above water at one time.
It looks like it. And that's what I was saying because just how it looks different, it looks like it's different levels. So, with that being said, is that not altitudes, different altitudes? Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
looks like.
that's exactly what it
And
is.
as
Water
with that
rising.
being, yeah, like what, and it would only be higher because it's on top of something. You understand what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't make sense for the water to be higher if it's the same body of water, unless it was more land underneath it. That makes so much sense.
Now see these islands right here.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at those two little. Yes, I was just about to say. And then you see the bottom ones with the three right there. All of that's land. You can tell. Like that right there. Then that where the fort here where your mouse was just at. All of that. That's land. That's
Like
land. It's probably too deep to go underneath.
this area right here is the area that most people who believed in it back in the old days believed it where it was.
Does that not look like what we just saw on the map? That we
Mm-hmm.
saw, and I was like, "Hey, why does it look like it's backward?" It's the same exact shape.
Yeah.
Look at it,
Well, check
and
this
let's
out
just.
too. Like there's a line that comes all the way down here,
I see it.
and then it comes all the way back up here and it matches up. So
It stopped
this,
moving. There we go.
you want me to stop moving? Is that what you said?
No, it stopped moving. You were saying,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes all the way back up, but it was still in the same spot. The mouse is not
You
moving
see,
on
and
my
this
side. It's
this
moving
this could
now.
all been landmass at one time.
It looks like landmass all the way down. I could see it because look at how it's connected, and look at where it's connected at with Africa. So look, zoom back out for us 1 second, just a second. All right, now trace your mouse, and you trace your mouse to where you can. There's no. Can you go back to over here? Like, look at this. Go down here, and then you go down, and then you go down further with your mouse though, and then look where it connects to Africa, right at the tip. Where is that at? Guinea. Guinea. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see? Yes. Look at it.
Yep.
Look. Yes. And then it goes here, and then it goes there,
Yeah,
and
but
then it goes all
also,
the way up.
if you look at this, okay, look at it a little closer too. Look at Morocco, okay. Now,
Okay.
when the Phoenicians used to trade with Morocco, there was a weird story that was involved with them where the Moroccan tribes that were local to the area freaking made it to where they didn't want to have any contact with the Phoenicians and uh, other traders during that time. So what they would do is they would bring their goods that they wanted to trade with these people out to the shores, and they would place them on the shores, and out of uh, good conscience, you know what I mean? They expected that these ships would come out and drop their stuff off on shore, and they would trade the goods, and they would take what was traded to them, and they would leave what they were trading. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they did that, nobody knows. They have no reason. They have no understanding of why they did it, and they did it right here in this area. Now, if
Right
you
where it looks like all this land. Look at this. Right there. Right there. Look at
okay,
that.
and
There's
it's
nowhere that's just water.
yeah, it's always been that way with them. Okay, in this region, that's Gibraltar. That's the freaking that's the thing of Hercules, I believe is what the Strait of Hercules. It's actually
Mm.
the Strait of Gibraltar. That's what connects the Atlantic to the Mediterranean right here. Okay. Um, this coastline right here is very, very interesting, and this coastline right here.
The Phoenicians traded along that as well. I saw the
Mm-hmm.
Phoenicians traded on the whole top half of Africa. I
Yep.
look just with my findings from what you guided me towards.
And
Yeah.
uh, they're also doing excavations on this side too because they're finding old artifacts of old cities that used to be on the coastline here that are just gone. They don't exist no more.
Mm.
Spain is a big, it's a hot topic right now in archaeology. It's almost,
Can I?
huh?
I was going to ask you a question,
Go ahead.
but go ahead and tell me about. No, well, you can finish your thought first. I
I'm
apologize.
finished.
Excuse me. Oh, no, you were going to tell me about Spain. You're not finished. Keep going.
I'm done.
I was just going to ask what prevents exploration of the deeper sea to see about Atlantis? Like, is it prohibited or have people just not attempted it? Like, because I'm sure people have attempted it. So, what's the issue? Why have we not? Have people said they've attempted and they could not find anything? Because I feel like I heard someone say they explored and they did find something. Is this not accurate?
Well, see, we're looking at a map here. You know what I mean? The Atlantic isn't even
It's
as
tiny.
close.
You're right.
It's not even as close as in depth. It's not as close as what it is here in the Pacific Ocean. Like this right here, this is huge. Like when it goes to freaking going down. All right, this is a very very deep water right here. These right here make this freaking look like freaking a kiddie pool.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay,
But can you not see how it looks like land
yeah,
masses? Like, even when you were doing with the New Zealand, if we're using the same type of context clues, it would parallel when you move it over here to Atlantis.
And I
So, oh,
also
what's
want
that at the top? Oh, that's
I
Ireland.
also want to point something out here too. Okay, now this right here, this strait between England and right here, you got the North Sea.
Yeah, North Sea, I see.
Okay, now if you look at this line that runs through here, okay, this was where the water used to be. This used to be landmass, and the United Kingdom was connected to the rest of Europe. They've found villages and settlements down underneath the North Sea and through this strait right here. Okay,
Mm.
that shows from the English Channel. It shows that there were actually settlements there and people had lived there at one time. And they're doing research into that too and diving down in there and finding new information out. This is the boundary of where all the old land masses were before uh, the ice melted off.
Like, look at them. You can see them. You can see the land. You can tell that it's land.
Yeah,
Like, even it's saying whatever island. Like, look at this. Look, and then this looks like it had a chunk taken out of it.
yeah.
Like somebody just ate Iceland. Looks like someone just took a chunk out of it.
Well, Iceland is very ferocious. So you've got Iceland right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when the Vikings settled Iceland, the big problem they had is there are huge freaking icebergs that constantly travel around the freaking beaches of Iceland. So not only did they have to freaking travel here from Norway and Sweden and freaking Finland, but when they got here, they had to worry about these huge freaking icebergs that were constantly freaking all over the place here. And these were freaking not like clusters. These were freaking always there and by huge amounts. Okay, and it constantly rotates around this freaking island. So that's what they had to deal with when they first got here. And I believe the
Oh,
first.
can you go up here to this top, Raphael? What does that say, Raf? At the top of Iceland, R okay, Raf Raf.
Is you able to see it?
Okay. Yeah, I see it. I see it now. You zoomed in too much a little bit. It's at the top. It's Rafar
Oh
right there.
yeah,
Rafar.
Rufferhoffen.
Yeah, something with that. I'm gonna take a
Rufferhoffen.
screenshot. I
Now,
don't have my iPad up today.
if you want to get into interesting stories, this island is the story that you want to learn about because there's been people that freaking entire villages that just vanished. Entire
From
community,
Iceland.
yeah, entire freaking communities just vanished without a trace.
Okay, so that's next week's Strangeness. I'm gonna do some research into it. We have next week's
But yeah,
Strangeness.
now see this when it comes to Atlantis, this is what I consider we should be doing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's good to talk about the stuff and a lot of the old stuff, but getting on here and looking at the maps and seeing it is pretty good. Like
Yeah, it definitely shows a lot more.
another thing when it comes to Atlantis that needs to be discussed is Malta. Okay, for a lot of the scholars and stuff, they believe that Malta could have been thought of as Atlantis too, and not just Malta, but there's offshoot islands that are out out away from Malta,
Paul's Bay, Victoria.
and
Syracuse.
yeah, and now Malta. If you look at Malta at a higher or altitude, you'll see that Egypt is just right here.
I don't even see Malta anymore.
It's right here where my mouse is.
Oh, let me zoom out because I don't even see a mouse anymore.
And now Cyprus.
Ooh. Okay, I see Cyprus. Oh, okay, I see Malta. I see it now. Okay.
Yeah. That
Look
one.
where it's at in relation to Africa. Okay, I see. So this is the top half of Africa that we're looking at over here, and that's Lebanon over here. Yeah, where the
See.
Phoenicians were. Okay, I remember that now. Just from, I can point it out anyway. Just from doing this work with you, when I see that shape, I know that it's Lebanon in that area, Syria, and in Asra. I saw Asra on the other map for Atlantis. Can you show me it on here?
What?
Is it
Atlant
Asra? Is it called Asra?
Asra. Assyria?
Assyria, then maybe, yeah.
No, Syria
Not
is.
Syria, but
It's a.
Assyria or Asra. Hold
Yeah.
on, let me spell it.
Surah.
I'm about to say so.
Now Syria is an
Um,
ancient kingdom. It's no longer existence. The closest thing they got now is Syria. It kind of kept its name,
oh,
but its reach came right around here. It eventually took over freaking Babylon, and which was used to be Sumer.
can you show where Babylon used to be at?
It's right down here by Kuwait. Actually, Kuwait is
Mm,
the area, and this is where Babylon and where is Baghdad? Ur used to be up in
mm,
this area where you see all this,
Barcelona.
and
What used to be there?
Ur, the city of
Uh,
Ur.
what happens there?
The city of Ur, that was one of
Yeah.
the biggest ziggurats that was ever built. That's that was one of their biggest. There it is, Baghdad. So Baghdad's right here.
Mm.
Babylon is just south of Baghdad. I'll be
I
right
wonder
back,
why
real
they
quick.
don't show. Okay.
I got an emergency.
Oh, do you want to go?
No, no, I just have an emergency, real quick. I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, I'm back. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the basic area. I can probably see if I can find Babylon.
Look, I'm looking at different maps. Lost city of Atlantis can be found off Spain.
Yeah, see,
Um,
this is Babylon right here. Can you see that out? That
um, Byron.
see that?
Where can you point? Yeah, okay, there you are. Governorate, yeah.
Babylon, Iraq is right there. If I push out a little farther, you can see it there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hilla, Al Hamza.
Mm-hmm. Ghana. Is it Milky Nile? Wait, the Nile? No.
Denial.
The Nile River goes all the way this far. I thought that was in Egypt.
Yeah, that's probably not denial that we're thinking.
No, yeah.
Um,
Oh, Babylon. See. I can see it on the map now. When you just did that, I saw it on the map.
yeah,
Ahasma.
I have
What
no
is
idea
this
where.
Ramadan?
I'm still. Now, can you see the outline of it?
Yeah,
This
I can
this
see the
little line.
outline, the red. Yeah, the red and white. And so that's what they're considering to be Babylon. So that's what Babylon is.
But that's today's Babylon. Um,
Kabbalah. Mm-hmm.
Sumer,
I
Iraq.
that before.
This is Sumer.
Simmer. Super chicken. What? What is that? Is that a
Oh, actually,
restaurant?
I should have done that with an A.
Did you see that place called Super Chicken? What
Yeah.
is that about?
That's in
Shaba swimming
Baghdad.
pool.
That's right in Baghdad. Which I doubt that. That's just not.
Oh wait, so that little teeny thing is where they're saying is Babylon. If you scroll in, if you
No.
scroll out, oh, that little red and white, that's not what they're okay.
Yeah, they're trying to say that that's freaking Sumer, and it's not. Now Babylon is just south of it. The original Sumer is this area right down here.
Where they say I'll do it. Oh, wait, in
Anshanon, no,
Hilla?
Ashanon. And another thing I want to point
Oh, I
out
see
too,
that.
if you go according to if you go according to what freaking the Sumerians believed with the Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden is actually down here.
Oh,
And
that's right next to Dubai.
yeah,
And this is what Robot was talking about yesterday about the Garden of Eden. Where is that show again?
now what he's talking about is it's supposed to be up in this region, which there are a lot of people who do believe this because right here where these three rivers meet,
Yeah.
or okay, now right up in here is where a lot of people in the religious community believe that the Garden of Eden is.
And where were you just showing me to be?
Now, where I was showing you, if you go according to what the uh,
Right
Sumerians
there.
were discussing, it's right around Qatar.
I wonder if the land was broken apart. Well, we know it was broken apart. Put
But
this in my Qatar. I just want to have it in my Google for later whenever I
this
do get to it.
this is the general area that they're talking about, and in particular, it's a small island.
Wow, it's small, but it's very innovative. Jeez Louise, I'm looking at these pictures. It's just like ridiculous.
They even
It
have
says,
their
can women go there?
story
Um,
on the Garden of Eden too.
I'm looking it up now, Garden. And see, they're saying in Kuwait, yeah. And look. See, even if you look it up, it says that It's where you're saying that it was at. And then let's see, Persian Gulf and southern Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates River run into, and that's what he was saying.
Yeah,
So he was talking about it being near Mesopotamia and Tigris and Euphrates River.
yeah.
But this, yeah, I see both. Because then this other one says that it's in Qatar, Eden Farm, Eden.
These right here are the more ancient areas too. This is where a lot of the old civilizations come from. And he was talking about this region too when he was mentioning I forgot their names again. Shit. There was a tribe that just vanished, and it was an ancient tribe as well. And they used to bring their trade goods all the way up through here into the Persian Gulf and trade with the Sumerians, which they are mentioned by the Sumerians too, by the way. But this is the region they came from, and it stretches all the way up.
Oh, God. And is that top half that got wiped out by, what was it, a tsunami? What was it he said that wiped them out?
It
And that's why
it
the,
was a tsunami, is what he was talking about. Which
yeah.
the region does have the look that something devastating happened there. You know what I mean?
Right, and then does follow that trail. But see, what I was going to ask yesterday, but he was kind of like in his zone. Look, if you look at Australia, it's kind of like the same. It looks like the same type of thing might have had. You see what I mean? Some type of effect. Look at
Yeah.
how it's green all around, and then it has that brown. That's why I was wondering how it could skip that, or was there any story on that? Because when he was speaking on it yesterday, I
Well,
kind of
see,
had that
when he was talking about, that's the reason why I brought up the thing about England,
Iceland.
about
Oh,
England and
England.
all this. Yeah, what I was just talking to you about right here. Now, see,
Yeah.
this would have given way to the ice, and when it happened, even scientists say that the water eventually came through here and it filled this area up. All right. Now they say that it was over a long period of time that it took place, but what if it wasn't? What if it was a massive uh,
Disaster and
yeah,
then
disaster that
happened at one
occurred?
time.
The water came spilling through here. It hit here. It could have went right over this landmass and hit Australia. That could have
Hmm.
probably been the last
Especially like
area.
a wave, a tidal
Mm-hmm.
wave, because it could just go up and it can skip some stuff, but then where it lands would have more. You know what I mean? Like would have more destruction, more devastation anyway. Because there's no system to be able to destroy it.
Now, what I was talking about was up here. Okay, you have the freaking mountain ranges up here. Okay,
And Turkey and Greece, yeah, I see
and
that. Yeah.
this right here is being pushed by tectonic plates right here that run across here. Africa is actually pushing north, and what it's doing is it's freaking slamming into Europe, and these mountains are freaking rising into the air. Now, it's also
Because the water is pushing them from underneath.
yeah, the tectonic plates, like the ground actually has plates all over the place, and they're shifting all the time. And these plates are literally pushing Africa north. The entire continent is moving north, and it's creating these mountain fronts here. Now up here is the same kind of situation that's going on. You have the Russian steppe, which is right around in here, okay?
Hmm.
Now, you have the Himalayas, too, and the Himalayas are basically the same situation right in this area, okay? The Himalayas are actually moving upwards. They're growing. They're getting taller. see that?
Because part of this is Asia, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Asia, and then is
This
India. So that's Asia at the top, right?
right.
China,
This is
okay,
Nepal,
and then
uh,
India.
Bhutan and Nepal,
Hmm.
and all of that is the Himalayas.
The Himalayas.
Hmm.
So where are the Himalayan mountains?
What are they?
Yeah, are they that? Is that whole area them?
Yeah, that is
Oh,
all these little white spots here you see.
yeah, those are the mountains. Oh, I see Mount Everest. Okay, so it's just different mountains that make up the Himalayan mountains. So the Himalayas are mountains, and then
Right,
you have different. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it now. I've not known till today.
and then right there it just gets more and more insane. They're spread all over.
They look like they're covered with ice as well.
Hmm.
Are
So
they?
So I mean, there's a lot of things that he was discussing over there, and there's a lot of factors to take into consideration as well. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm,
there's a lot of damage that's been done. Don't get me wrong, but it could have been a lot of things other than
just one time, one tsunami, right?
yeah.
It
And
could
like
have been.
from this point on, where Kuwait is, all the way to right around in here, right right around to the well, I ain't even gonna go there. I'm gonna say up to Anatolia and where Lebanon is.
Hmm.
This was called the Fertile Crescent. Okay, this used to freaking have uh, a lot of vegetation and it was very fertile land. As a matter of fact, wild lions used to run this area, and yeah, wild lions used to run this area, and it
And now it's desert.
and now it's desert and there's no wild lions whatsoever. Lebanon, for thousands of years, was famous for the cedars of Lebanon. Countries, all these kingdoms would come from frickin' every part of the frickin' known world to Lebanon so that they could just buy their frickin' wood. Alright, that's how famous the cedars of Lebanon were. And now they're nowhere. It's just barren.
Hmm.
And
It looks like a little bit of green.
the reason for it was is they were big on crops and everything, but they didn't know how to freaking properly use agriculture, and
What is
they depleted their
what is Cairo? I apologize. I see Cairo here. It looks like it has a lot of land.
yeah,
Is it green still?
yeah, right there. That's where the
Hmm.
outlet to the freaking Nile River is, dude. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I remember. That's the Nile right there
yeah.
going through
This is
there.
actually the Nile Delta.
The Delta. That's what it's called. The mouth of the Nile. I remember that
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
that's the Nile Delta. In Alexandria, where I was talking about,
Yeah, you
this
just was.
this is the city that was built in dedication to Alexander the Great when he conquered Egypt.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you.
So, um, and this is where a lot of Hellenistic belief came from. This is where you get a lot of your Gnosticism.
What's Gnosticism? Hold on, I'm about to look it up just in case. But what Hellenist? What is that? Lady Helen. I heard of her.
Hellenism, just spell out Helen and then put ISM at the end of it.
National character, culture of Greece, especially ancient Greece, Hellenism, imitation of Greek culture is what it is. Okay. And then can you Gnosticism. Oh, it's a G. Blow your vocabulary. That's what I'm attention again. Harmony, radical movement, second century, Christian church, pre-Christian origin. Gnostic doctrine taught that the world was created and ruled by a lesser divinity, the demiurge, and that Christ was an emissary of the remote supreme divine being, esoteric knowledge, Gnostics of whom enabled the redemption of the sin. Hey, we gotta talk about this in history. Gnostic, Gnosticism. We should talk about this.
Yeah.
Really, or is that too much? And is it? Can we do that? Is the history?
Gnosticism would actually be a better topic for what we're doing
Thing.
now. Um,
Okay.
we could dive into that. I'd also like to talk more about Neoplatonism on here too, because there's a Neoplatonism. The Neoplatonists did a lot when it came to. Have you ever heard of the Great Year?
The Great Year. Can you explain it? I feel like I have, but I don't think so.
The elliptical year, where the Earth actually wobbles. Okay, and it's like, have you ever seen a top spin?
Yeah, like a dreidel. Yeah,
Yeah, where it spins with that
yeah,
little
I must
wobble
do.
on it. That's the Great Year.
Yeah, but no. Wait,
That
the Great Year is an actual thing, and it means for what?
it's when the Earth wobbles
Oh,
instead
no,
of
I've never heard of
rotating.
it.
Well, it rotates too, but it's a wobble, and it takes a really long time for that rotation to make it completely around one time. And the ancients used to call it the Great Year.
But
And
that's just the Earth spinning on its axis,
yeah,
and it's called the Great Year.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that ever. Never ever heard that. No, or maybe if I heard it, I just wasn't paying attention because this is like high school. You're like elaborating on stuff I haven't even touched in high
Oh,
school,
I guarantee
and
you, they never even mentioned it to you in high school.
I haven't got it at all.
I mean, I can almost guarantee you they never did. You know, it's just a lot of this stuff you don't learn in high school. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like they just don't.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. They don't go over the stuff that's like the facts. They teach you what they want you to know in order for them to emphasize a certain type of thing. And that's
Yeah,
something I've learned about a lot of stuff that you've been showing me.
yeah. That there's probably some good stuff that we need to get into. And you know, I don't have a problem with talking about freaking Atlantis, you know, but I mean,
It's not
just
enough facts.
yeah, and just understand that there's a lot of people who made a lot of money off of this freaking Atlantis scheme that they've come up
Concept.
with.
Hmm.
What they've come up with is a freaking scheme. I mean, point blank, pure and simple. It's, you know what I mean. The actual Atlantis concept is pretty interesting, especially when you start thinking about stories about Lemuria and things like that. Okay, and continents that have sunken underneath the water and things of that nature. But people have made it into more, and what they're doing that for is because they want to exploit people who are willing, or who they can uh, deceive, and
Easily influence and
yeah,
persuade. Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Now, I don't include Casey among that because Casey freaking he honestly believed what he said. He even has his own institute, and they still do research trying to find Atlantis. So, but
So I just want to know: do you think that, or is it possible that there are other places that are accurate with documented proof? Like, because Plato was so renowned, I would just want like to understand where would this concept come from? If you know what I mean, like, is it possible maybe he was even referencing Lemuria, and like not even if he wasn't referencing it, but you know what I mean? Maybe it's just like a cross between stories as opposed to all of them being
well, I
separate.
mean,
Maybe it's
it's like I said at the beginning. Okay, he only made one reference to it. I mean, and after he made that reference, it was never used in the ancient.
everybody.
I mean, in the ancient world, nobody caught on to that and made a deal out of He was just making references to freaking, the state and the republic, because that's what he supported. Okay, he wanted a republic, and he wanted to emphasize how important it was for a state, and that was it. Um, but a lot of that kind of got uh, got conscrewed, especially during the Middle Ages. Um, uh, Francis Bacon, he wrote a book called New Atlantis. Um, Francis Bacon and was big on. Well, he was pretty excited when the Americas were discovered. You know what I mean? So after all that, people during that time were very excited because they found a new world, a new continent, and their imaginations just went wild. So he did that, and there was other people that made stories concerning Atlantis, and we can go over that too later on at different times, because those
Looking
are.
at these pictures, yeah, we're over time. But I just would like to tell you too, because I'm looking at these pictures. You know how they make the structures in like Washington D.C. and then Center City, England, Center City, London, and stuff. Like, look, this looks the same. It looks the exact same structure, especially when you're looking at Washington D.C. from bird's eye. Mine, like these circles. I'll have to find the documentary I was looking at that showed it. I'm gonna just make sure I'm telling the right thing and everything. I guess we can no matter. This right here looks just like, and it is, and it's one, and then it's like 3 points. If you look at like the Vatican, the England, inner city England, inner city London, and then the inner city England, yeah, and
This
then Washington D.C.
this
It'd be 1, 2, 3.
that was also something I wanted to mention yesterday and go over, but I can actually bring it up now too, because it kind of fits in with it. But these obelisks, okay? Now,
Yes, I look.
a lot of people who are into freaking lost ancient civilizations, they've caught on to the concept of these obelisks. Now,
Mm.
going off on a tangent about the freaking Great Pyramids and all that stuff is fine, but the key is they need to really pay attention to these obelisks, because these obelisks were actually erected for a reason. Okay, people didn't just
And those
come.
were the ones we were looking at in Turkey, right? The
Right,
obelisk.
they're
Yeah.
all over Turkey. They're all over Egypt. Um, People were venerated because of their deeds, and obelisks were raised in their freaking honor, and they were raised to deity like statures. They were mortals that were deified into gods. Okay,
Hmm.
and Santa
And these are the
Chinathan,
things that God said. Yeah.
and Santa Chinathan, he went around and he interpreted all of these freaking writings off of the freaking sides of these freaking obelisks. Okay. The only sad part was all of his documents and everything were destroyed, and the only thing that remains of it is what Eusebius of Caesarea, or Eusebius, wrote about him in his argument against the pagans. You see, so
I'm just looking at the structures.
you have to take a Christian's viewpoint on when it comes to learning about these people. You just can't find the text and documents that follow up and tell you this is what he said.
Look at this. Um, look at this thing. This looks just like disabled advances. I'm about to put it in the chat. See, that's why. Because if you look at stuff long enough and put it, oh, I can't put a picture in here. I'll put it in the mountain. But if you look at stuff long enough, you can see that someone's not telling the truth because look at the shape of this and say it does not look like what is the problem? This phone hmm. It's like you can see it looks, and then I'm going to show you this other picture I this was looking at for Atlantis, and I'll use this one just because it looks like it correlates more with it, and then you can see that. Look at this. This is crazy. This is like the same place. And you have this one here, and you put this one here,
Let
and
me see how much.
then
Oh wow, we've been on for an hour and 45
oh,
minutes.
we're really over time. Yeah, we've been doing that a lot lately because it gets
Yeah,
so good. You might have to start extending your show.
I have no problems with it. Um, being honest with you, it's all right. We can do it, but I just didn't realize it was that far over, Pat. We've gotten into a
Yeah,
lot of good stuff.
you always do, and you teach me so much because it's stuff that I probably am guided to for a reason. And I mean, there's a reason that your show is the only show that, like, when you popped up, that from ever since that first day, I've been hooked. It's like a drug. You take one hit and you cannot stop. Hopefully you can, but I mean, most cases, you see the difference though. Look at
Yeah,
the picture. You see what I'm saying? If you look at that's the obelisk, right? That's a picture of the obelisk, but then look underneath it and look at the picture of what Atlantis is to look like.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's mad wild. Oh my gosh.
Now, the whole the whole thing behind all that is this outline is
Mhm.
described in Plato's description of what Atlantis looks like. That actually is true.
Yeah, but okie dokie, and that's what you're saying about the obelisk because you kind of discarding that. What if it's all connected? Like, what if that is Atlantis, or if it's not Atlantis,
It's
something
a
like
matter
it?
of coming up with evidence, okay? And my whole
Yeah,
point
that
is
part.
like okay, let's go back to Graham Hancock, okay? He
Mhm.
loves to talk. That's all he does. He's just a news reporter. He loves to talk. And when he talks about having evidence, you know what that consists of? That
What's it?
consists that consists of him being in a freaking pair of shorts, in a scuba freaking outfit, diving off the side of a boat, and showing that on video. That's all the evidence he got. Look at me, I'm diving in the water. That's all you get from him.
And he's a British writer.
He has never produced any kind of freaking solid evidence. He's never produced any tablets. He's never produced anything whatsoever that confirms any of his ideas are true. Nothing ever.
I never even heard of him until today. Now I'm gonna have to do some more research.
You know, and he's the one that pushes these ancient civilizations theories. And before that, he was doing the freaking Planet X catastrophe back in the early 2000s, where people believed that a freaking planet was going to crash into Earth, and like
But
he
is
even
that end up being serious, B? Like, isn't that what they guarded as Planet X ultimately, or no? Am I
it
confusing
it
things?
never happened. Okay, and when it never happened, Graham Hancock disappeared from the freaking scene with that group of people. You see what I mean? He just vanished, and
Yeah.
then he came back, and that's when he started discussing freaking lost civilizations, and then he started getting in with Randall and doing the early Dryas and everything. But even then, I still believe that the reason why he wants to hook up with Randall is because if Randall proves his theory, then freaking it makes his ancient civilizations theory uh, more reliable. You know what I
More
mean?
reliable, yeah. Hmm.
Because Randall is the actual scientist. He's the one.
Explorer. Oh,
He's the one that goes out and he does all the freaking hard work.
and it's Randall. Who? What's his last name?
Carl Randall, or
Oh,
Randall
is it?
Carlson. I keep getting the name mixed up. Let me make sure I get it
Oh,
right.
I'll just Google and then it'll tell me if it's Randall Carlson. Yeah, home of the renegade scholar and master builder. Okay. Well, he looks like he goes out there and he gets it done. I don't know why I can believe a man in a beard as an architect or explorer before I can be.
Yeah, Carl
Let me
Randall
see it. Say holy.
or Randall Carlson.
Car- Randall Carlson.
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah. He is 100%. I mean, he's damn good. Now I'm having a hard time. I'd like to say biologist, but he's more into.
Is it an archaeologist?
No, he is freaking into. He is into freaking or geologist. He's a geologist.
Geologist. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and he's
And
a damn
showing
good.
where civilizations were located before or land masses were before or
Yeah,
I was just wondering, look, and this has this Graham Hancock. When I look Randall Carlson, I'm seeing Graham Hancock now in relation. Like,
yeah.
who is this guy?
See, and that's what I'm saying. He's riding his freaking coattail so that he can freaking put a spin on it. And all I'm saying is he's
That's
legit.
what happened with Tesla's. That's what happened with Tesla's. Tesla had like an enemy, not really an enemy, but there was a guy. Hold on, I have his name in my notes. Who basically that they said created the radio instead of Tesla. Tesla had the concept first, and then he ended up promoting it first before Tesla got it out. And he just took all of Tesla's research. Oh, what is this guy's name? He was an Italian. Hold on. I gotta open my notion
Yeah.
and I gotta see what his name was. But that's the same exact thing that happened with Tesla. Well, I don't want to say same exact thing, but uncovering truths with
Well,
Tesla.
see, I got into something back then where I wanted to write about a lot of that stuff because a lot of people don't understand that there's freaking a lot of controversy over that happened back then when it comes to copyright. I mean, scientists were arguing over who freaking invented the freaking hair trigger or the freaking spring that freaking worked in wrist or pocket watches and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everyone was kind of jumping on everyone else's coattail, not really doing their own research in order for them to
Yeah,
get the credit.
they were
That was a lot
constantly
of it.
using each other's freaking information or using their research.
I wish I could see the name of the guy. I'm gonna have it for. I'll know the name later, and I'll be able to tell you. But it was, and I was reading it, and I was either reading it or I don't remember if it was in my reading or if it was in a documentary. Now I think about it, it might have been a documentary. And like, yeah, you don't know who I'm talking about? The Italian guy that supposedly was Tesla's arch nemesis, and he said that he created the radio instead of Tesla.
Um, I I know that there's a couple of stories and everything. I don't
Not
know if
familiar with it.
I can go through that. We could actually start talking about that. That would be something we could pull up and start talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Like, let me. Because I'll have it if you wanna. Because if you wanna go further in with that conspiracy, and if you wanna do that, I mean, like, because I'm gonna look it up
Well,
tonight because I'm
I've done
frustrated that I.
I've done research into freaking the royal uh, the Royal Society and
Are you
that
kidding? Yes. Look. New World Order. I have it right here in my New World Order tab. And then hold on, holds the title to the worldwide crown land as private corporation state of London Council of 12 members ruled by the Lord Mayor, 13 ruling families including Rothschild, Warburg, Oppenheimer, and Schiff. Holds the title Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, which is wild because we're talking about Australia and New Zealand now, and that's the worldwide crown land and empire of the city, Lexforia. Then hold on. And it's Washington D.C. separation, Vatican, blah 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 blah. Executive members of the Council on Foreign Relations present power began 1921. CFR does not confirm the government policies. Government, does not conform to government policies. Government conforms to the CFR. Blah 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 blah. Dominates the press. The Brotherhood of the Snake, the Brotherhood of the Dragon. That's talking about the 13th Amendment, where it's not in the Constitution anymore, which is another thing that we should discuss because the 13th Amendment is the title of nobility amendment, and it makes it to where the United States president is subject to the British king and is no longer included in the most recent um, documents of the Constitution. Yeah, hold on. Let me just see here.
Well,
I don't.
don't be sneaking out information on the wrong freaking day, man. I mean,
Right, I
you
know.
got you're like handing out the goodies before
I'm
freaking
heading up
it's time to
conspiracy
do it.
Strangeness. Yeah, okay. I'll
it's
calm down. I'll calm down. Relax,
oh, shit. It's
relax.
like data dumping, you know. I mean, shit. Like I said, I don't like data dumping, man. Much less.
Right, right. And I'm just like, oh, listen, I got this.
Got my
Right,
buddy
okay.
Detective
Let me
Fallen.
formulate my thought in a
Got my buddy Detective Fallen, and
more
he's one of
structure.
these young guys, and he shares his gaming videos with me on Discord, and he doesn't understand the concept about schedule amount to where they freaking post on a on a manageable, fashion or in a manageable fashion. So one
Right.
day I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden freaking 20 freaking uploads just pop up on Discord and it's freaking Detective Fallen. He just puts that shit on there like freaking it's a good thing. And I finally told him, I was like, you don't freaking data dump. People
In
don't
his
like,
defense,
yeah.
sometimes it takes forever to upload because, like, I'll upload my videos for a scheduled time, and it'll all of a sudden they'll both be coming at the same time. I've done that recently. Like, I'm not giving up on YouTube. Like, it just never works the way I would like it to.
See that relates to what we're talking about here then because it's like you're just wanting to give all the information within a freaking few minutes.
Right.
Just a little
We said
patience.
one thing about the Royal Society, and I went off.
Yeah.
I went off.
Now
Well, at least we
we
understand
can
where
we
I'm
can
at
get
with
that going.
it.
I think that would be
Well,
a
I'll
good
have that for
topic.
tomorrow. Yeah, so obviously I'll have notes. Yeah.
But
Well, that sounds good then, I guess.
yeah, we got. I think it's like 3 minutes before or 2.5 minutes before freaking 2 hours. So we better call it quits for today and come back and do this again.
Okay, yeah, I'm here tomorrow. Got you.
Okay. All right. I will see you later then. Okay, Karma.
Yes, have a good day. Thank you for everything. Be safe, okay?
You too. Bye
Thank
bye. Alright, so I am going to end the stream and the recording, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed. Uh, if you did, freaking hit us up. Let me know that you did enjoy it. So, with that, I am going to stop the stream and say goodbye.